Hello students, today in this module we are going to start with the topic codominance. Codominance topic is a part of chapter 5 Principles of Inheritance and Variation. So let's begin with. Now before discussing codominance, you must be knowing that the F1 generation that we till now have studied in the different type of the crosses, we have seen that the F1 generation either resemble the two parents and either it is in between them, means either there is complete dominance or there is incomplete dominance. So the F1 resembled either of the two parents, that is the dominant one will be expressed, or in between, that is the incomplete dominance, as we have seen in the dog flower. But in case of codominance, the F1 generation resemble both the parents. So it is important to know, as the word indicates, codominance means dominance of both the parents. Okay, so in this kind of the cross, the F1 generation will resemble both the parents. It will have the characteristics from both the parents. However, in the previous crosses, in the monohybrid cross and in the incomplete dominance cross, we have studied that the F1 generation resemble only one of the two parents. Fine. So a very good example of the codominance is the different type of the red blood cells, and these red blood cells actually determine the blood group, the ABO blood grouping in human beings. Now let us discuss ABO blood grouping. The ABO blood groups are controlled by gene I. This gene I is controlling the ABO blood group. The plasma membrane of the red blood cells has a sugar polymer that protrude from its surface, and the kind of sugar is controlled by the gene. So basically, the red blood cells having a plasma membrane, and this plasma membrane is having certain sugar polymers that are protruding out of the surface. Now the kind of the sugar molecule in the RBC, that kind is controlled by the gene I. Now gene I is having three alleles, IA, IB and the small I. Now the allele for the IA and IB protrude a silently different form of the sugar, while gene I does not produce any sugar. So IA allele is producing a type of sugar, IB is also producing a different type of the sugar. Now small I do not produce a sugar at all. So all the three alleles are different. As we know, humans are diploid, so each person will possess any two of the three I alleles. Fine. So the person may have the combination, and out of these three alleles, possible combinations are like this. So we have a total of 6 combinations. We are having 7 combinations. Like see here, if IA from the parent 1 and IA from the parent 2, then the genotype of the offspring will be IA and IA, and the blood group that it will show will be A blood group. But suppose there is A from the first parent, B from the second parent, and both are dominant, both are producing different type of the sugars, so both will express. So the genotype will become IA and IB, and the blood group will become AB. This AB blood group shows that both the type of the sugar are present in the next F1 generation, and the F1 generation is resembling both the parents, parent A also and parent B also, parent 1 also and parent 2 also. From the parent 1, the offspring have get IA, and from the parent 2, the offspring have got IB, and the genotype become IA and IB. Ideally, in earlier cases we have studied, out of the two alleles only one is dominant, another one is recessive, or either it is a homozygous condition. So but here it is not the case. Here both the alleles IA and IB both are equal and both are expressing together, and the genotype become IA and IB, and the phenotypic character shows that the blood group is AB. Okay, so neither A is dominant over B or neither B is dominant over A, both are codominant. So this is a very good example of codominance, and these all remaining are the possible alleles and the possible combinations. Here we can see if small I and small I is there from both the parents, then the blood group will become O, as no sugar has been produced. However, small IA and IB are dominant over small I. So if the genotype of the offspring is like this, IB and I, then the blood group will be B, because IB is dominant over small I. So this is all about the codominance. One more topic is in between this even. Sometimes what happen is a single gene may produce more than one effect, means a single gene is responsible for more than one phenotypic expression. Like, see this example. The starch synthesis in a pea plant is controlled by only one gene. The gene is the single gene is producing responsible for the starch synthesis in the pea plant. Now this gene is having two alleles, B, capital B and small b. Now starch is effectively synthesized if the genotype is this. Okay, it means if the homozygous condition is there, then large starch grains are produced, and in contrast, if the genotype is small b and small b, that is the homozygous recessive one, then lesser efficiency is there of the starch synthesis. Okay, and grains will be produced of the smaller size. Now two things here need to be mentioned, that the grain size and the efficiency of the starch synthesis. When the genotype was this homozygous dominant one, then the size of the grain was also large, and the synthesis of the starch is also very effective. However, when the case was homozygous recessive alleles are together, then less efficiency was there of the starch synthesis, and the starch grain is smaller in size. After maturation, the seeds having homozygous dominant alleles or the recessive homozygous alleles, they were seen to be quite different. The one which is having this genotype are producing round seeds, and those which are having this kind of the seeds will produce the wrinkled seed. Now this and the heterozyte, if we talk about the heterozygotes, that is this, then the seed is of intermediate size and it is found to be round, and the efficiency was intermediate, and the size of the seed was intermediate. So there are different angles and different phenotypic characters which are controlled by a single gene. Try to understand this, that the starch synthesis in the pea plant is controlled by only one gene, and this gene is having two alleles. Okay, when this condition is there, means the homozygous dominant condition is there, then the seed size was large and the shape of the seed was round. Efficiency of the starch synthesis was very effective. However, when the genotype was like this, then the size of the grain was small and the shape of the seed is found to be wrinkled, and the efficiency of the starch synthesis was very less. However, in the heterozygous condition, when this was the condition, then the size of the seed was intermediate and the seed were found to be round, which depict it is dominant. However, this intermediate shows that there is this is a case of the multiple this is a case of the incomplete dominance, as intermediate size of the grain was found. It was not large, it was not small, it was intermediate. So a single gene may be responsible for more than one phenotypic character, and it is based on us that which character we are studying and which character we are focusing on. However, this starch synthesis in the pea plant is a good example of the incomplete dominance. So at last we can say dominance is not an autonomous feature of the gene or the product that it has information for. It depends on how much the gene product and the production of a particular phenotype from the product as it does on the particular phenotype that we choose to examine. In case more than one phenotype is influenced by the same gene. So it can happen that the same gene may influence more than one phenotypic character, and it depends on us that which character we are studying. And there are characters, there it happens that when the F1 generation may show complete dominance or incomplete dominance, or there can be co-dominance. So I hope you people have understood the topic well. Thank you.